There are so many companies in trouble in the comic book industry. I'm starting to wonder if there's any that aren't in trouble. That might be the biggest news compared to this. It seems like another day, another company is in danger of folding. This is about Boom Studios today, not IDW. We've been covering a lot of IDW's failures over the last year, but my industry insiders say troubles are ahead at Boom, and it's pretty ugly. So we're going to get into the news in just a moment. My name is John Delarose. I am a #1 best-selling comic creator, and this is my Kickstarter, The Hidden Emperor, which will be going live in the next couple of weeks. I would love for you to sign up for this. If you love great science fiction, click notify me on launch. Our first book, Overmind, did a tremendous amount of sales, our best ever, and this one will be even better because we just crushed it. We really did. So if you don't have Overmind, you can get it on my web store in the description below in the meantime, or it will be available on the Kickstarter also. No worries there. Thank you guys for supporting great independent comic books and the channel and our journalistic efforts. We really appreciate you. All right, so Boom Studios, who's best known really for their Power Rangers brand, is in financial trouble. And I do always wonder how these companies get in financial trouble. Maybe it's these licensing agreements with stuff like Power Rangers just cost so much. I don't know. But they do. This is the same thing with IDW, right? They're all in financial trouble. They all have a massive amounts of debt. And I'll show you how much I've been told they're in just a moment. But this is where Boom's at. But Boom, has actually a robust creator-owned following also. They produce a lot of books, and a lot of them are mildly successful to really successful. They've done really well on Kickstarter, like kind of leading the way there. If you remember, they teamed with Keanu Reeves to do Berserker a little over a year ago, and that one went through the roof. I mean, they made millions, and on top of that, that then went into comic shops and did very well also. So where did all the money go? I can only speculate myself, but obviously they have squandered it, at least to some extent. Even this year, they've done pretty well. They've launched a few Kickstarters, nothing to that success. This was the one that I was the most excited about, which was Farscape, the 25th anniversary comic celebration. Farscape is one of my favorite things, and having a comic continuation of the show is better than zero. So I was very happy that this is all finally getting collected. But look at it. It made $683,000, probably even more in the after campaign stuff. So they're like I said, they're doing pretty well. And so I don't know what's happening, but apparently Boom got itself into some debt trouble through all of this. And what happened is that they were up for being bought by another company. And with that, they got into due diligence. The company saw they had $20 million in debt, and yet they valued the company only at $15 million. And so when you've got debt that's greater than the value of your company, that's a very scary thing. And so the buyer apparently backed out. That's what I've been told. And so with that, Boom is in trouble. And Boom is in a spot where they don't know what to do. Now, this sounds like par for the course for the comic book industry, right? And a lot of people, I was talking to Mike S. Miller the other day about this, who's from DC's Injustice and his own independent books. And he was telling me that Boom's not woke, so this is kind of something to lament. I did get uncovered. The guy who runs Bleeding Fool showed me that there were multiple campaigns pushing the LGBTQ agenda in recent years. So it might be that they just take all the money from these profitable franchises and just squander it on all of these woke properties that they're trying to push, and they've just flooded the market with too many books, and they'd find themselves in trouble because of that. And again, I think that the licensed properties that are a little more successful, they have to pay quite a bit in licensing. I don't know what Keanu Reeves took out of that $3 million from Berserker, but I'm sure it was a decent amount of change, right? Otherwise, he wouldn't have done it. So there is all that, right? So Boom is apparently struggling with debt now and struggling with a way to repay this debt because they were counting on that purchase and sale to go through, and now they don't know what to do. This is what I'm being told. And then on top of this, as this was coming out, the president of publishing, Philip Sablik, was announced to be leaving Boom Studios. He's quitting, and this follows up. This is again their president of publishing. This follows up where Jamie S. Rich, who was the editor in chief of IDW, suddenly quit IDW last month, right before I uncovered that they were losing a bunch of licenses for their company as well. So it looks like these guys might see that there's some sinking ships happening and moving on for greener pastures. There is a rumor that they're working together and forming a company together. I don't know what that might look like, but of course I'll cover it when it happens. But interesting timing that as these stories start to break and as this information unfolds in the comic industry, that these big heavy hitters that have been with the company for a long time are leaving as well. Now, the comic industry not doing so hot overall. I've been told from many retailers that the summer events have been duds. Blood Hunt just failed to move the needle. Absolute Power, I'm told, has much lower pre-orders than was expected. And I also heard that the Ultimates line, which really was keeping Marvel afloat with the Ultimate Spider-Man, is not doing so hot down the line. Like Ultimate Spider-Man still selling very well, but Ultimates #1 actually has drifted lower than Black Panther and Ultimate X-Men, according to what I hear. So not very good. But with the Ultimates, they really didn't put a superstar writer on there. They put on what's his name? Gosh, why am I blanking on his name? Dennis Camp. I don't know how to pronounce his first name, but he really is not that notable, so it kind of makes sense. You would think the Ultimates would be a big brand that would work because that's what Mark Miller just created the Ultimate brand on, made it really go. That's kind of what the Avengers movies were based upon. But this iteration's kind of weird. Jonathan Hickman did a weird universe with this, as he's been tending to do lately, which kind of works for him, but it doesn't really work for the other writers around him. But with those companies out there doing that, Marvel and DC fails to get people into comic shops. And when people fail to get into comic shops, the other companies down the line are really the ones that suffer. And that's might be what's happening with Boom Studios here, because the comic shops are emptied out further than ever before. They keep closing. We keep having more problems. And with it, these companies are failing. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Please hit the like and subscribe button to join us here. Really appreciate the comic community. We're growing. And please check out The Hidden Emperor and sign up for this. It's in the description below. Appreciate you for being there.